Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2 from the Dreamhack Atlanta Regionals Latin America. Two players you might not know, but this match comes recommended from the head of ESL himself. Let me introduce in the top right. Get to know him, as he has several of himself already morphing. It's EGGz. With 2 G's. Wow, his name is an offensive GG. That is a bold move. On the other side, no, not the Viking Explorer. It is Erik the Zerg, here to join us in the blue. And this match is brought to you by Dreamhack. Tune in to Dreamhack Atlanta, November 18th to 20th of 2022. If you're watching this in 2025, wondering how the #1 Stormgate caster with millions of subscribers started out, well, how you doing? And hopefully me in the future is just as charismatic and handsome and humble as me in 2022. But make sure to tune in to Dreamhack Atlanta, the 18th to 20th, and then my cast afterward. Don't worry about it if you miss it. Back to the game. Data C, Game 1, best of 3. ZVZ is always a bit of a knife fight in a phone booth. Jimmy, can we bring up the guide? So the thing is, the weird part of ZVZ is that you can almost always know what your opponent is doing up through the mid-game. The Overlords, only Queens can drive them away, and even then, Queen's only marginally faster than an Overlord if they chase him off a creep. So, up past about this point of the game, when the Overlords approach the natural ramps, you have near-perfect vision. So it comes down to predicting and reacting to what you see and what you know can be happening. And EGGz opens up with no gas pool. He's got enough lanes to force a response here. This is actually about the least committed. This is kind of an anti-early pool. Just bear with me. There's a lot of detail involved with these little Zerglings. But since he didn't get gas, this is mostly if Erik went for some sort of 12 pool or an early speed, he'd have options to deal with it without slowing down his economy too much. So overall, Erik going to have a slight advantage because he did go for the hatch first. He's going to get away with that, as EGGz has nothing to punish it. But past that, just a marginal advantage for Erik that could easily evaporate with a single Bane lane. So, no Zergling speed. EGGz double gas being added on later on than you're used to seeing. And that means probably a Roach timing. Wait, did he cancel speed? No. It's right in the production tab. Am I blind? Other important questions? EGGz lining up that Roach timing. Meanwhile, +1 Carapace is the choice for Erik. So, going to be relying a little more. Interesting. And when you come up here with the Zergling, and you see 1, your opponent doesn't have Ling speed, and 2, you see an Evo Chamber upgrading alongside the Roach one, this looks like it could be just +1 ranged attack. But the Carapace, of course, covers everything. If you're going only Roach versus Roach, +1 ranged attack is the preference. But if you want to add some Zerglings in or rely on them entirely, well, guess what? Carapace is your friend. The Queens were trying to chase down the Ovi, but they retreat immediately. That third hatchery is maybe a bit optimistic. The Ling's taking EGGz by surprise, but giving him the time here to retreat behind what will be a hard wall. Yeah, the Zergling's just going to keep control of the situation. Roach is on the way. He doesn't cancel the Evo, but he'll probably kill it with the Roaches once he wants to get across the map. And now, the worker counts. Erik is really almost all in on this. And this is the weird part of ZVC. Is expanding usually means you have a worse economy. Because Larva's at such a premium that you really just can't slip out that many drones. Especially if you're going for the Zerglings. So Erik is down 13 drones right now. And despite the fact he's sitting on the front door of his opponent, he's on a timer because EGGz has near full 2-base saturation. He should be able to pump out a critical mass of roaches. Of course, +1 is not done. He doesn't have roach speed anywhere close. In fact, the overlords, I think, now respecting the situation. If he finishes +1 ranged attack, EGGz is in a great spot. If not, oh, unfortunately, trapped in a prison of his own design. Oh no! He denied. And now no upgrade advantage. So that economy isn't necessarily going to help if you have nothing to take advantage of it with. Roach speed is on the way. Now it's Erik with that +1 carapace against roaches who aren't going to be able to deal with the lings very quickly. The roach horn itself is targeted. There's no Zergling speed on the other side. And Erik finds his timing. He's building drones, and I think a great move, a spire behind, but EGGz adapts quickly. Another roach one, and a Nidus network. Okay. Yeah, we see where this is going. He's feeling a little bit more pressure here. He realizes that with all those Zerglings and all those roaches, it's incredibly unlikely that Erik has a stable economy. And also, remember, he can see everything. This is the vision here. He sees no third base. So it's very likely either just a bunch more units or a spire. That spire is kind of the ace card in ZVZ. Zerg, the only race that can't really deal with mutas. Except with mutas themselves are an overwhelming amount of anti-air. And especially against roaches and Zerglings, obviously mutas have aerial superiority. Well, it comes down to whether Erik scouts the Nidus. Oh, nice cancel, last second. And 2, whether the mutas come out in a timely enough manner. EGGz is still, he now, after building all of this, has lost a few drones in spine crawlers and other buildings. There are queens that can be slammed into the Nidus, but there's not enough of them. He could bring drones to build spore crawlers. Nidus is done. Surprise! Hello!
Surprise, motherfucker!
This is gonna get weird. Okay, so a bunch of roaches in the main. The mutas are scrambling back. Erik is winning the fight on the ground, but has nothing but, well, he did just corrosive bio like half of his own Zergling, so I'm gonna go ahead and rescind that previous statement. As the Zerglings are gone, the Ravagers are not enough, and it looks like the Nidus is just gonna be the classic killing blow. Might be a bit strong. There's a lot of mutas out. He's killed a ton of drones. The roach is not dying easy. Another Nidus at the 3rd. There's nowhere to run for the drone. More drones coming. Another Nidus into the main. The muta count, 10 mutas right now, which can easily overwhelm the handful of queens that are currently on the field. Another Nidus back into the main. 26 drones have died. He's bringing some drones. Gonna build spore crawlers in his base. Alright, and these roaches can go from the 3rd base back into the worm, or he could just lose it and kill the 3rd. Anyways, the spore crawlers. Creep doesn't discriminate. Alright, there's no your creep, there's no my creep, there's only our creep, my Zerg comrade. And here we are, spore crawlers in the main, lair dead, spire exposed. The mutas will go for a semi-base trade, but those spore crawlers have a bonus to biological air, which also discriminates specifically against the mutas, as there is only one race has biological air units. So, GG. EGGz collects 2. And that means we're going to game 2. Erik gonna have to go back to the spawning pool, try to figure it out. It looked like the spire was a great... If he had just covered for the Nidus, he was in a very good spot. But all it takes is a few seconds without vision. It wasn't really on his radar. And I think just a bit of a mistake there. If he shuts down the first Nidus, that game gets a lot more complicated. So, we'll see. Going into game 2 of this best of 3. EGGz, can he collect 2 more of those Gs for his collection No, you can't say collect and then collection. It sounds like you're dumb and can't come up with more words. I have great, incredible words. So, is this an overpool? It makes us sound very educated as Zerg players when we say things like overpool or extractor trick and stuff like that. And it is an extractor trick. He gets 15 supply and then immediately goes for the hatch. Extractor tricks out another drone. Erik going for an incredibly quick hatchery here in game 2. And that is not the most economical play. That feels like he wants to get a bunch of extra larvae. He has been, for the most part, the aggressor. It is another early pull. Now, the Latin American region, which does also play on the NA server, but these players, alongside players like Special, Cham, Jim Rising, Jim, not so much Jim lately. I think he's still playing sometimes, but my favorite Spanish League of Legends streamer. Let's throw that jab in there. Where was I? But again, EGGz with the kind of anti-pool timing. Another pool hatch, and then adding the gas, so not going to be left without Zergling speed this time around. I haven't quite seen these two builds match up. It's also odd because we're on Cosmic Sapphire, which is the largest map, the longest rush distance, especially if you don't take down any of the rocks. There's multiple valuable bases. There's a rich gold base. There's rich Vespine bases. Now, ZVZ very rarely gets to those bases, but just keeping that on our radar. Zerglings darting in and dancing around the hedge. The classic dance. Oh, one Zergling manages to slip by into the main, and we'll see Zergling speed 3 and gas, and he may have gotten the info. There's no second guess. I'm not 100% if he got far enough to see that, but I mean, he wouldn't have seen the gas geyser, but he would have seen the drones mining with his eyeballs. I didn't need to explain how eyes work. That was a bit much. Roach Morin. But what part of the eyes went? Roach 1. 5 more drones, though. Okay, so he's not going all in with this. It's more of a... 1, if he gets scouted, then has a response. And 2, if he's up against Zerglings, mass Zergling, he wants to have the wall and the roaches behind. But ZVZ is a lot about calculated risks. Whether you better call at this stage. And once again, we have quite a tech split. This time it's going to be EGGz with the Zergling focus, +1 melee. That is explicit. That one is clear. He is going for Zerglings, as opposed to a mix here. Whereas, on the other hand, Erik just got supply blocked from the Queens who took down the Ovi, but then the Zerglings get... No! You can't just let them in! Unfortunately, no other race has discovered depot burrowing technology. Oh, well, oh my god, a Zergling gets into the main. A Zergling gets into the main, sees there's no lair on the way, but there's no lair across the board as both players have a bunch of early game units unwilling to give up that control. +1 melee is a long way off. A few drones behind here will bring EGGz close, actually slightly ahead on the drone count for now. But they both keep adding on. Whenever you build those gas geysers, you kill one of your drones, or promote them, depends on your perspective, I guess. Another drone not mining, essentially. Oh, he didn't have an overlord on this side of the base, and guess what? The queen! The most important part of maintaining that larva production. But 2 queens do manage to block the ramp. Though we may have to pull the drones with a mineral walk. The rest of the Zerglings coming back now, but EGGz, classic mistake, and then he gets back into the main anyways. You're gonna see the lair, see double gas, get a beat on the drone count, and this is definitely a win for Erik. A third hatchery is optimistic for either player in this series. It seems a spire on the way, more roaches. Erik is up to 45 drones. Another, oh god. Oh god. Heart of the Swarm, the Mutas. In Heart of the Swarm, Muta Zergling was oftentimes the choice, as that's when the Mutas got their healing, their quicker healing over time, as well as the limited economies, making Mutas more valuable and giving them more opportunity to do damage before a huge mass of ground units could knock you out. Well, guess what? Both these players have kind of hamstrung each other's economy, either through forcing unit production or killing drones and queens. So, 2-base versus 2-base Muta is quite a throwback. And it's unclear. I think Erik has a slight advantage in having all those drones out quicker. But at the same time, the Ling upgrades go to EGGz. And the Lings obviously combine well with the Mutas, as they don't cost any gas. So, it's gonna get weird. A couple Banelings. The Roach one, it looks like he'll be able to finish Roach speed in time. The Roaches breaking through the other Roach one, which seems a little cannibalistic. Banelings looking to crash in. There are Mutas in production for both sides, but the Banelings can help zone out. These Zerglings only have +1 melee. Without the Carapace, they can't, like, the Banelings are the most dangerous force field right now. But the Roach count isn't quite high enough to break through. So, an awkward skirmish at the front. He's just gonna go for the drones here. And in fact, 2 Banelings make it by. Okay. Oh, he attacks the rocks. That could have been worse. It definitely could have been worse, but now the battle begins. The real action here, which is the Muta Wars. Neither player with particularly much economy. The Muta count in favor, 9-9 right now. No upgrades at all for the Mutas. They're throwing everything into these valuable flying rats here. Having just one more, because of the way Mutas attack with their bouncing glaives, it can spiral very quickly, having just a tiny advantage. Okay, well, the Zerglings trying to get in. The drones perform the protected, get down, Mrs. Queen. And then they abandon the queens, and one of them dies immediately. A third hatchery will be attempted by both sides. We'll see if either is able to complete it. +1 air carapace here, which in a straight-up Muta versus Muta fight is more advantageous than +1 attack, but obviously doesn't help against the ground. Yes, you guys can tell. You can tell this is a Muta battle by the way it is. Putting the Zerglings underneath to try to absorb some of the bounces. Oh wait, that's too many, that's too many! You got reinforcements! Oh, you gotta back off. But that means that EGGz has control of the ground. And running in +1, melee Lings will easily dispatch the drones, and that drags the Mutas back. Some Roaches popping out. Oh, it's gonna be one of this is just a scrapyard game here. Neither player going to easily be able to get drones or hatcheries. Is that burrow move Roaches? I don't know if EGGz noticed that. That's a really... Wow, what a tech shift with like 8 Mutas on the field. Just banking on that Muta advantage. He's gonna go for burrow move Roaches. I doubt EGGz noticed that was happening during all that. And it's such a weird call too. Because he has the Muta advantage, at least right now. But it's about like, not anymore though. Like... This is like 3 levels deep of mind games. Because technically the burrow move Roaches, Mutas fly, but they can't hit underground without detection. So it's at least 3 levels of deepness here. And also, of course, the roaches don't take too much damage from a handful of mutas. And oh, Erik is not nearly enough. Oh, +1 carapace about to finish for him. Burrow move roaches are in the mineral lines. +1 carapace is done. Tunneling Claws is almost there. Burrow is a little behind, so Tunneling Claws not very useful until Burrow is done. It's kind of a prerequisite. Fortunately, you know, it's not a buy one, get one free situation. He will notice it, but I think the roaches may die before Burrow finishes, which, you know, kind of defeats the purpose. And there go a few more mutas, but here are some Burrow move roaches. A single muta survives. Will he burrow? Or probably after killing the hatch. So no third hatch. No third. Nobody gets a third. Burrows the roaches. The Overseer is just too damn slow. So despite having no upgrades in the air... and they regenerate faster underground. It's not... At one point they were nerfed because like 10 mutas were not enough to kill a roach underground. Or like 5 roaches. It was actually ridiculous how fast they regen underground. But, well, some mutas at home. More mutas on the... It is currently 17 mutas. The roaches living up to their namesake here. The main base is mining out. We're at 33 against 29 drones. Technically, if you look closely, you look for the sandworms. Okay. Are there any roaches down there? But you can see the animation. It's just very slight. And unless you're looking for it, it's very unlike Widow Mines usually. Unless you're specifically looking for it, it's very hard to see, especially on creep. But there is an animation. Of course, he did bring detection here. So, overall, I'd say EGGz has... Oh my god, Erik is going for 2 base infester. I mean, what else you gotta do? EGGz is keeping most of his mutas at home. All we need are Vipers. Like, this is a bit of a Hail Mary strat, but he does have Burrow as well. So it does increase the likelihood those infestors will be able to get some fungals off. Right up until... Oh, he sees it there. Oh, he whiffs one, but there's more! Oh, he just kind of... Oh, he airballed it! Oh, no! That was the most literal definition of airballing I've ever seen. As the fungal just misses the mark. That's not good. That's... Well, unfortunately, fungal can be dodged if it's a difficult thing. He's getting more infestors because he can't really, unless he kills this entire group of mutas, he can't really go back to mutas. It's 26 mutas. There's still one from Erik somewhere. See? Look! It's so hard to see on creep. Until you have an overseer. He's just going for the spore crawlers here. He loses 1 muta. It still takes a handful of volleys. But he's losing a lot of mutas. If only the infestors could get a fungal with some spores. But they heal. If you don't kill them, they heal. Oh no! Oh no! The infestors are kind of the whole thing here. But the roaches are doing damage. It's a mess. Erik, a bit of a blunderbuss move there. But the roaches managed to kill 8 drones. And right now, EGGz is only at 26 drones. Which, for those keeping track at home, is not very many. At this point, the more relevant count is mineral patches. Erik only has 8. He only has his larger patches left on his main and his natural. Whereas EGGz does technically have a 3rd. So... Oh, this transfuses the spore. Loses a couple drones, unfortunately, but... Oh, the roaches! He could maybe burrow under... You can also fungal Zerglings, which are a little easier. No, well, what? Yeah. Meanwhile, a single roach. Oh, wait, no, the Muta! It's back! And it's angry! Ah! What a mess. He didn't even, like, the roach is about to... Oh, the Muta roach! Two brothers! But unrelated. More like brothers in the, like, good friend sense, as opposed to brothers in the genetic... You know, actually, they came from the same hatchery. It counts. It counts. The same larvae. Let's not get too deep into Zerg genetics, alright? Abathur's gonna get upset at me again, and I already have a foot in my mouth, so... It's enough. It's enough. Moving on. 6 drones. 26 to 27 drones. How many? Okay, we're gonna count the patches again. Plenty of patches here for eggs. At the 3rd. The patches are mining out in the main and the natural. Overall, 300 more gas has been mined for Erik. We're gonna see long distance mining, aren't we? At this rate. Wait, did a roach warren die for egg? Oh yeah, he never rebuilt it. 154 links. More spores. Erik builds 2 more spores, dropping his drone count to 24, which is, once again, not very high. Didn't lose the drone. Killed a Muta, and the drone lived. Oh my. Supplies are nearly even. 82 to 81. 34 drones to 23. As time goes on, and if he's able to get a 3rd, having infestors is better than not having infestors. Ah! There's still a roach. Wait. Just for those. Dun, 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 dun. Worm sign. When you see worm sign, you gotta get your harvesters out of there. That's a science fact. But they back off. There's 500 gas. The gas is worth it, especially when your unit composition is infestors and whatever else. Queen infestor. We skyrocket up to 34 to 31 drones. The infestation pit. No, the Muta! Oh god. The infestor's scuttling in. Will he land a fungal? Oh, money fungal! Cash money! The Muta split! Oh, the spore crawler moves! The rest of the Mutas are getting distracted. Meanwhile, whatever the hell this is, he burrows! Spore crawler gonna kill... Oh wait, there's more overseers. He's gotta burrow those drones or something. Yeah, but then the overseers come up. But wait, here's the infestors! Corrosive bile misses the mark. Another one thrown wide. The Zerglings. All the 17 drones die, which is most of them. The hatchery is vulnerable. Infestors getting too close. Huge fungals doing terrible, terrible damage. The infestors still a lot of energy. Just not too many other units. More fungals. Oh, slowly, very slowly, but somewhat surely, EGGz is breaking through. There's, another fungal. It will kill the Ravager. There's not much. Wait, is he dead? No, well, there's nothing that... GG, it's over. Well, it's over. Hopefully you enjoyed just a nail biter until the end. Never getting over 40, well, never, 40 drones I think was about the max. That was quite an experience. Thank you to Dreamhack. Make sure to tune in. And then maybe check out this series. And check out the playlist, the Best of Dreamhack Atlanta 22. Thank you for watching. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Good luck, have fun. Stay tuned.